Hi everyone, that's Tigran from Typhoon. We are starting a series of educational videos about coffee roasting. Subscribe and do not forget to turn on notifications. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating parts of coffee science, the roasting process. Roasting is not just about heating beans, it's a series of complex chemical reactions that transform green coffee into aromatic, flavorful beverage we all love. Why roasting matters? Roasting is the critical step that determines flavor, aroma, and even the health benefits of coffee. While green coffee beans are rich in compounds, they don't taste or smell like the coffee we know. Through roasting, reactions such as Maillard reaction, caramelization, and pyrolysis create new compounds that give coffee its signature taste and aroma. Preparing the roaster and charge setup. Before we talk about curves and chemistry, let's set up the roast correctly. Convection roasters typically reach thermal readiness in about 25 minutes. Conduction and drum roasters often need 40 minutes so metal mass and air system stabilize. The goal is a stable, repeatable starting point. If the temperature is too low, there is a chance that the coffee will be underdeveloped. Too high loading temperature will lead to defects and over roasting. We will explain how to choose the right temperature in future videos. Green stage of roasting. Sometimes it's called drying stage, but that's a bit misleading. While a lot of moisture is removed at the start, the coffee bean continues to lose water from the beginning of the roasting until the very end. At the start of this phase, the beans begin to heat up but do not change color. The graph shows that after the green coffee is loaded into the roaster, the temperature in the roaster drops rapidly. In reality, this does not happen. It is simply that the beans at room temperature cool the hot sensor. This continues until the turning point, and that's the moment when we begin to see more or less accurate readings. If you ignore the part of the graph before the turning point, you'll see steadily rising temperature line. This is much closer to the truth. Turning point is a key moment in the beginning of the roast. If it happens at the same way every time, you're on track. But if it's different, you know that something went wrong. This stage of roasting does not have a significant impact on the taste of the coffee. But it's where the coffee receives a lot of heat and therefore sets the future roasting trend. Brown stage of roasting. At this stage, the coffee beans start to change color. The heat breaks down the chlorophyll. That's the pigment that makes plants green. So you'll see the beans turn from a greenish yellow to a light brown. This reaction is what shapes the coffee's final flavor. This color change really kicks off between 130 and 160 Celsius. That's when the sugars and amino acids in beans start reacting with each other. This is called the Maillard reaction. It is the same thing that gives toasted bread and roasted meat their color and flavor. Why do we love the smell of roasted coffee so much? Because Maillard reaction creates a warm, cozy smell that reminds us baked bread, nuts, and caramel. Caramelization starts only when the coffee lost enough moisture. This reaction is impossible in moist condition. Our brain have a deep built-in preference for this smell. For our ancient ancestors, this smell was a powerful signal that food was cooked, safe to eat, and full of energy. The people who were naturally drawn to this smell were healthier, stronger, and had more children. Over thousands of years, this natural choice has become an important part of human life. So our love for that coffee aroma isn't a learned taste, it's a deep, seated biological attraction rooted in our survival. First crack. This is the most anticipated moment in any roast, first crack. At this point, the moisture inside the bean has heated up so much that it wants to escape. The bean structure changes, releasing boiling water vapor. This is where coffee's flavor and aroma really starts to develop rapidly. The chemical reactions happen so fast that every second or every half of a degree matters. The sound of first crack is hard to confuse with the noise of the roaster. It sounds like soft cracking from a campfire. It usually starts between 190 and 200 degrees Celsius, depending on your bean, your sensors, and heat application way. If your roaster's design makes it impossible to hear, you can easily see it on the graph. At this moment, the rate of rise will start to decrease. A loud, distinct crack tells you that the heat application up to point has been strong enough. We consider first crack as a separate stage, but Maillard reaction and caramelization that started earlier don't just stop. They continue all the way until you will drop the coffee from the roaster. How long should the first crack stage last? There is no single right answer. It's all about your goal for the coffee. Short development, 16–18% after crack. Result, a brighter, more acidic and fruity cup. You'll taste more on the bean's origin story. This is typical for light roasts. Medium development, 18–20% after crack. Result, a balanced cup, you get a good mix of sweetness and body while still keeping some of the bean's unique character. This is sweet spot for medium roasts. Long development, 20–22% after crack. Result, a darker, heavier cup with bold flavors of dark chocolate, spice, caramel. The origin flavors are mostly gone. Unloading temperature. However, it is necessary to understand that a specific degree of unloading should not be achieved too quickly or too long. We talked about this above in the blog about first crack. Conclusion. Preparation matters. Give your roaster time to stabilize and choose the right charge temp. Green stage sets the energy trajectory. Brown stage builds color, aroma, and sweetness. First crack is your crucial point. Control development time to hit your flavor goals. Discharge with intention. Think both temperature and curve shape. I think that's it for today. If I missed anything or didn't cover it enough, please let me know in the comments. See you soon.